You know, we're going to look back at the freaking history books and think, where did it all go wrong? Where did it all go wrong? When it used to just be go to the gym, go nuts, get a pump, and, eat a steak when you got back home, to all the detailed fancy pantses that we're kind of going down the rabbit hole of now. But I'm exaggerating. It's not actually that deep. It's really just a consequence of the social media side of fitness, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, social media is so bad. No, I just mean, it's all about sensationalism. What's new, what's exciting. People have been doing push-pull legs for years, and it's been working for years. Nah, screw that shit, man. We're doing full body. Screw that shit. We're doing upper lower. We're doing whatever. Don't freak. That's my message of the day. Don't freak about the details. If you're going hard. And if you have a scale and you weigh yourself reasonably consistently, then if you're making gains, if you're getting heavier, if you're putting more muscle on your frame. And if you're not, then that's a cue. Something's got to change. You got to train harder, maybe train more consistently, sleep more, get your diet in tune. If all those variables are just freaking, being left to the wind, what are the odds that you're actually going to make any kind of consistent progress, right? What are the odds that your car is going to make it on like a freaking road trip if you got loose freaking lug nuts, every tire's a different PSI, you're sputtering, you got one spark plug kind of just, maybe on every third rotation it'll go off. It's just not going to work out, right? So that's where I'm trying to focus on my consistency for this bulking phase, and make sure that I can really kind of oh, I'm sorry. I just had a pre-workout nap. I'm still kind of recovering from now. But I want all those sort of variables that I can at least control be completely under my control, right? So that I can actually at least make steady gains. And if anything starts to slow down, like my weight, my size, my whatever, then I know what the culprit's going to be. Because usually I'll be able to look back at like my calorie intake over the last few weeks, or my sleep or whatever, and I can say, oh yeah, no, my sleep has been kind of scrappy. Or I haven't been drinking enough water, or just any given whatever, and be able to say, okay, that's the problem, But it's I think it's just a deliberate looking away, or turning away, or just giving yourself a blind eye when guys are like, man, I got no idea why I'm not growing. Or even worse off, basically make up an excuse in a completely unrealistic situation. Like, dude, I don't know why I'm not growing, man. I mean, I'm eating 6,000 calories a day, and this is a 180-pound 17-year-old dude. I'm eating 6,000 calories a day, man. I just can't grow. Yeah, some of those numbers are off. But in terms of today's lift, nothing too wild. I just want to completely thrash arms in a good way. So triceps, I haven't done anything overhead extension related for a little while, so I think that's definitely on the to-do list in terms of my little exercise roster. But apart from that, biceps are pretty easy, in the sense that, I mean, if you gave me just a pair of freaking 50s, I think I could get a good bicep workout with nothing else. No bench, no nothing, no cables, just doing some heavy sets of curls. That'd be fine. Now, of course, I'm not just going to do that. I'm going to do some preachers and some machine curls, and maybe some dumbbell, and some cable stuff and whatever else. But yeah, once triceps are basically inflated beyond belief, all that's really left to do for me is to go crazy with whatever curls I decide are going to feel the best in that specific moment. But I think no more teasing it. Let's just get in there and get started. Shouldn't be too busy. This is a little bit of an earlier lift for me too. I think reasonably heavy single arm extensions will be a good start, as well as a different start than normal. I've got a bit of a habit of just throwing the rope around, which is good, but I don't want to start every lift the exact same way. So I'm going to do the weak side first, failure, repeat on the other side, probably 2 or 3 of those, and then switch to something overhead. That'll be, I know that's what's going to be next. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, yeah. That was good. And I'm really trying to get like as stretched of a freaking position as possible at the top. But a few more. Oh. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Holy crap. One more just like that. Not sure what's next. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. All right, let's switch handles and then do some bent over overhead extensions right here on this cable. No need to run around all over the place. Very versatile piece of equipment we got right here. No. 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 Oh my God, okay. Oh. One more of those, minimum. Holy shit. And there's not much squeeze here. Like, when I get to the top of these reps, it's not like I'm doing a crazy burning squeeze. The burning position is actually in that stretch. Like, that's when I feel all sorts of fibers really getting, well, pulled apart. But a few more. Okay. Oh my gosh. So, okay. Oh my gosh. I might not even need any more. Give me 1 second to think about it, but honestly, I feel like I can't even flex my triceps all the way. Holy shit. So, next up will be either some kind of curl or one more tricep movement. Let's see what I can do with the 65s. Not super controlled, but not too nasty either. Kind of a middle ground. Okay, oh my god. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's enough. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh, let's do something a little lighter. Damn. My eyes were a little bigger than my biceps. I put a 45 on here. I didn't even do a feeler rep. I just picked it up. Yeah. Especially after those 65-pound curls. Too freaking heavy. Now, at 25, I think that's about right. So, with these, very similarly to, actually, no, I guess, I don't know. Honestly, this is kind of a pretty complete movement, at least in terms of something you're not going to be swinging with too much, but an awesome stretch at the bottom, and the weight gets lighter relative to my biceps as I get to the top, and that's where I can really have like a squeeze and a flex, you know, because obviously it's going to be the heaviest when the weight is the furthest away from my elbow, and the more I bring it up, all the weight is just being translated through my, forearm bones, so my biceps can actually have a bit more leverage, as it were. But no more explaining. Honestly, those words are way too freaking big. Let's just focus on going crazy. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. The only problem is, like, if I want to get my biceps really in line with the loading, I have to put my elbows closer together. But I'm running into a bit of a cleavage problem because I don't want to actually touch. Oh my God, okay. All right, I'm gonna go there. Oh, God. Oh my God. Oh, let's do something else. So, biceps, I've done heavy, nasty curls, controlled squeezing with a good stretch focus, preacher curls. So now, the only other kind of movement I even know to do for biceps, apart from those two styles, obviously I know other curls, it's bicep biased pull down, right? Essentially just a chin up pull down. But here's what I'm imagining, right? Because I'm not trying to pull with my elbow per se. Usually when you're thinking of a pull down, it's like, okay, pull with your elbow, your hand is just a hook, so you can really use a lot of lats, right? I'm almost completely flipping that approach backwards because I don't want to pull with my elbow at all. My elbow is just a medium for my bicep to act on my forearm. So I'm trying to think of pulling my hand to my shoulder, right? Like that. And my lats will just come into play to give myself some assistance towards the end once my, once my biceps get a bit more burnt out. So kind of a cool movement because the more you kind of weaken yourself, you can give yourself some self-assistance without even having to like have somebody else grab it for you. So I think, well, we'll see. Let's do one first and then go from there. Because honestly, this could be it. Then the straps help me keep from turning into a forearm curl. That's why I strapped in for the dumbbells earlier. Good. There we go. Oh. Yeah. 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 Okay. That was good. But it didn't feel that good. I think I'm going to finish with one set of cable curls, and that'll probably be enough. Like, that was a good set, but it doesn't really inspire me to do another one. When I know a different style might feel better. So, a little more than half the stack. And these curls, I'm still going to focus on holding the squeeze, but I'm not going to hold here for a second, right? It's like I want to do a complete rep. To the top, and this moment of motionlessness, have a little extra squeeze, and then back down. And two guys can do a set that looks identical, but one guy can get way more out of it if at the top of these reps, he gets just a little extra oomph. You know, be it leg extensions, hamstring curls, pec deck. Some chest press you can't really squeeze at the top, at least not super well. Like if it's a machine chest press with plates, this is a really good squeezing position because it's just the nature of the movement. But it's like when I'm doing barbell bench, there's not much of a squeeze. You're kind of just holding it at the top for a second and then coming back down for another rep. So it depends on the movement, but movements like this where you can have a little extra oomph, yeah, don't just slack off and move the weight around because you'd be leaving gains on the table, you know. But let me pick a better song here. Okay. Oh my gosh. We're done. Yeah, would you look at that? Actually not the worst lighting in the world right here. Let me make sure I'm right in focus. There we go. Yeah, okay. So this is sort of the multi-purpose studio room with some Christmas LEDs all over the place, but not too bad. This is kind of I mean, a little better than this, but the old parents' home gym, this was sort of my style of lighting. Take an LED strip, put it right in the ceiling, go back and forth, like maybe a 2-foot wide line, and then it's like a real bright spotlight. So it's like light, mirror. I guess it's up to you to actually bring the action. But let's see how arms are looking. And frankly, fullness-wise, feeling reasonably freakish. In a very good way, of course. There we go, right in the middle. Oh, man. Yeah. Freaking sweet. Oh, fuck. Or frick. Forgot the measuring tape. But a good little test. Yeah, there is no finger to shoulder contact whatsoever. Oh, yeah. And that's typically a reasonable indication, at least once you've, lifted for long enough, that your arms are legitimately pumped up. Actually, let's see how the last road's looking through the tank. Yeah, get some solid width there. So yeah, this is what I'm aiming for. By the end of this bulking phase, right, I want that gap between my lats and my forearms to be full. You know what I'm saying? I don't want there to be any space. So that's where all the pull downs and heavy rows and everything else are going to come into play to really kind of both thicken up and widen my back, which is a little bro sciencey, but that's kind of what I'm thinking when I think about my exercise selection. Because if all I ever did was like real upper back focused heavy rows, even though I get a little bit of lat activation, should I really expect insane lat gains? No, man, that's why I'm going to add pull downs in as well, and give lats real direct stretching work too. But either way, that's all I got for arms. Let's get out of here. Good day. Yeah, this is nice. Honestly, this last week, yeah, it feels good to get back into gear. And what I mean by that is the fact that it's like I can actually take the pump home with me. When I'm fully dieted down and depleted, not so much. I'm talking even by the time I kind of like cool down and pack up all my stuff and get in the car, the pump is already kind of gone. But especially on like a big one, chest, arms, it's not the most insane, but even right now, they're still pumped up. They're going to be pumped when I get home. They're going to be pumped when I freaking take a shower, to the point where it's going to be tricky to, even get all the way up here and wash my freaking hair. Peak bulk. I've gotten to the point where I have to take my headphones out with my opposite arm, because it gets tricky to reach this one with the same hand. So that's a state that I do not mind being in, even at the cost of a little bit of softness. And it's a really good quote for anybody who knows exactly who I'm quoting. Then good for you. You got some taste, right? But when it comes to bulking, you know, some guy, oh, dude, I don't want to get moon face, man. I don't want to lose my abs. Dude, come on. I don't want to get soft, right? If you can't let it go, it's not worth holding on to. You know, the whole point of the bulking is such that you can be lean later and bigger, you know? Because, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the gym is not a place of stagnation. At least not in, you know, a long term, especially if you're still new-ish to working out. Obviously, if you're 15 years deep, constantly lifting, like you've been on your shit that whole time, yeah, gains are probably going to come pretty slowly, and you're probably peaked out what you're working with, which is freaking sweet, you know. But if you're still kind of a young buck in the spirit of training, then you should be making gains that you should be able to quantify, be it size, strength, maybe speed. You know, let's say you're a hybrid athlete. That's totally legit too. You can still kill it if you're trying to, you know, squat 315 and be able to run a marathon, right? But of course, you know, that's not really my. I don't really have such a proclivity. Never in such a rush like that. Yeah. So it's like, you know, sure, you might feel a little uncomfortable being a little bit softer now, and like it might be, maybe that was like your thing, like your biggest goal in working out, at least in that kind of context, was like, dude, I want to get six-pack abs back, you know. But I mean, you got to think about it in the long term, because you're not working out for you right now. No workout that you ever do is for your benefit in that moment, right? Like, apart from mentally, like, working out feels good, but in terms of the actual physical results you're going to get, you know, you're not going to notice. My arms are not going to be any bigger tomorrow by any marginal or noticeable degree than they were yesterday after having done this workout. They are going to be bigger after I do like 6 months of workouts, or what am I saying, like 6 weeks of arm days, or, you know, even just like month to month. Now, it's still marginal, but semi-noticeable. Like, the scale will read a higher value because I will be getting heavier. But day to day, it's not for you. It's for you in the future, right? So it's like, at least as far as I'm concerned, if you're working out and you do want to be bigger, you do want to continue to make hypertrophy gains, then a bulking phase, at least a minor bulking phase, may be necessary. Now, don't mix my words around here. I'm not saying that you have to go perma-bulk and get like Karakios Grizzly level soft. That's not what I'm trying to imply. Like, let's just say you've been eating, I mean, for a lot of guys who work out, they like the fact that it's essentially a buffer which lets them just kind of eat whatever, you know. Like, a lot of guys, I work out hard, I eat whatever I really want to, you know. Sometimes I have some treats, whatever. I just let my hunger determine, you know, how much food I eat per day, and it works out pretty well. And that's not a bad approach, especially in a gaining, like just maintaining your physical form kind of thing. Like, your appetite is a pretty good balancing act, which lets you obviously eat enough food to recover. So when you combine that with hard training, I mean, you're good for sure. But if you want to push past whatever rate of growth you're at then, which sometimes, I mean, you know, if you're just eating when you're hungry, you're not actually making a thing out of the diet. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some guys, if not a large percentage of guys, aren't really making any noticeable gains, you know. And all it takes is an extra 400 calories per day on average. But you have to make sure that every day you do hit that extra 400. So instead of just, you know, letting your body self-regulate, you kind of have to actually take conscious control and say, okay, I got to make sure I eat this much of this and this much of this and this much of that and whatever. And for the most part, I think that's a massive step in the right direction towards continued progress, because upping your training intensity, yeah, that's probably going to help. Upping your training consistency, that's for sure going to help. You know, improving your rest and recovery, definitely. That's all, you know, those are the big pillars of fitness or muscle growth. But the diet almost has the most instant and powerful effect out of all those things. And I really can't overstate that. You know, I would gain zilch for muscle if I only ate 2,000 calories per day. Or if I continued to eat in my calorie deficit intake, I wouldn't grow anything at all. Now, I'd stay lean and I'd look pretty cool, but I wouldn't be growing, you know? And if my goal was to lean down, you know, and to peel some body fat off my frame, and I kept eating as much as I was hungry for, and no less, odds are I'm not going to get any leaner, you know? So you kind of have to, you sort of have to step in to a degree, at least after a point, right? Because, I mean, main gaining, just adding working out hard into your routine is going to give results. There's no denying that, of course, but eventually I really do think you need to take control of the diet, get some macro tracking action, and then you'll kind of start to really see how things are working, right? It's like we're all used to driving our cars, but somebody who really knows what's going on under the hood, anytime they run into a problem, anytime they run into whatever, they know exactly what to change to fix it and get it back into working order. And as far as I'm concerned, the working out can kind of be looked at the same way, you know? Like, I think I was saying this in the car on the way here. It's like, okay, you've been sleeping good, you've been drinking more than enough water, you got your gallon jug with you at all times, plus electrolytes, you've been working out all the time, but you're not really eating a ton of food. You're not fueling the machine. You're not getting enough calories to actually kind of, you know, fund this endeavor of all this physical activity and recover well enough. Then that's probably the problem, you know? But that's not for me to tell you. That's for you to kind of look at your own situation and say, oh yeah, I mean, I've been getting 7-8 hours of sleep per night. My sleep's good. I could probably drink a little more water for sure. And I haven't really looked into anything about macro tracking. So, you know, these two, right, just the fluids and the food could be a pretty major factor in determining whether you get that 225 for 10 or, you know, hit that whatever metric of like a PR you're aiming for. Personally, I like the 10 rep PR, but, you know, you can do whatever you want. And it's, you know, in a way, it's kind of as simple as that. It's not as easy as that, but I do think it's as simple as that, right? So anybody who I can really get into a long chat with in terms of the training, oof. I mean, you know, when you run into somebody, come on, man. It's Green, the guy in front of me who's taking the second. He's probably texting. We've all been there, though. Can't really get too mad at him. But, you know, whenever I get into a real long chat with somebody training-wise, dude, they know, right? They're talking diet, they're talking protein, they're talking, well, should I switch to steaks or like ground beef or eggs or, you know, what kind of tricep extension? And just, you know, there's a certain kind of shop talk with the working out where you can kind of sense if somebody is really, you know, on their shit 100%, if they're maybe a little, or if they're just working up to it, right? But yeah, I guess that's just more of an observation than real commentary. But either way, awesome arm day. Oh, yeah. My chest is still sore from 2 days ago when I thrashed it with those 130-pound dumbbells. So I'm not sure. I think a rest day might be in order before legs tomorrow. We'll have to see. I'll think about it. Because I don't want to take, you know, rest days for no reason. You know, like just because, oh, well, you know, maybe I want to go do yeah. Like I want to take a rest day when I can tell it's going to be advantageous for me to give myself some time to fully recuperate and then come back tomorrow and hit it harder. I think there's a lot of rest days that get taken purely just out of circumstance. You know, maybe you waited a little too long to work out. Oh, well, you know, I usually work out at like 7. Yeah, it's already 8 o'clock. I don't know if I want to. I think a lot of rest days get taken like that. Not for the real reason, which would kind of, you know, necessitate them. But I think no more chatting. Good arm day. Tomorrow will either be legs or rest. And by rest, I just mean I'll just talk to you on my drive to cardio. So I will see you then.